So hello again. Before I start talking, take a moment to see how you feel now. This is not a guided meditation, just check in with yourself, your mind and body. What do you feel? This is the last full day of the retreat. And can you find in yourself any benefits from being on this retreat? Is there maybe a certain kind of peacefulness there? Or have you already picked up the bags in front of the gate? The bags of the past and the future. And already thinking about tomorrow. Remember what the Buddha said. What did he say? In Pali, but this is my translations. Do not revive the past or yearn for the future. The past is gone. The future has not yet arrived. Be aware of what happens in the present. Practice to know it, unmoved, unshaken. Apply yourself today. Be motivated. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? You can't bargain with mortality and his army. Practice like this, day and night, being motivated, not lazy, and you'll have a beautiful day. So the peaceful sage, the Buddha, said. Do you want to have a beautiful day today? Or do you want to have a suffering day? If you want to have a beautiful day, and the Buddha says, the past is gone, and the future has not yet arrived. We are still here in Jhana Grove. And if you have difficulty coming back to the present on this final full day of the retreat, because you're already planning for tomorrow, and maybe some of you are already leaving later today, then just imagine that this retreat has not yet ended. We're not even halfway. There's still many more days to come. When you signed up for a 9-day retreat, you actually read it wrongly. It says 9-month retreat. This is called delusion. No, that's a lie by me. That's you read it correctly. But imagine that this retreat is just gonna last longer. Yeah, we have this tendency to go off into the future and feel different today from the other days, because today is the last day. But is it really all that different in practice? Not really, because we have the exact same schedule as the other days. So it's still exactly the same day. You can also imagine being Sunyo, yeah? Or one of the nuns. We go from this retreat to the monastery where we live also in retreat, in a way. You go back to a bit more busy life, most of you. But see if you can sort of forget about it for now. That life will be there for you. And if that reflection doesn't work, you can always walk up to the gate again and put your bags down again. Yeah, I won't take you all now, but you can do that by yourself. Walk back to the gate, put the bags down once more, walk back in. Imagine it's the start of the retreat again. And you've got these whole 9 days still in front of you. That brings you to the present. Now in this talk, although it is the first talk of the retreat, for those of you who imagine it like that, It's the last serious talk of the retreat, but therefore I don't want to introduce any new ideas. Nothing major anyway. I've already said way too much. A lot of stuff and nonsense, as I said. But hopefully some of the stuff was useful for you. But anyway, I want to do a little bit of a recap of the things we've discussed. And as I do, maybe you can reflect in your own mind what was helpful, and then take those things with you to the future. If anything I said was not helpful, then just leave it behind here. Yeah? And this is the thing with the way I've been teaching meditation. I've been quite flexible, I hope, anyway. Saying, you can do this or that. There's not one way to meditate. Which reminds me of the Mindfulness of Breathing Sutta again, where the Buddha says, in this monastery, or in this retreat center, we can say, there are some who practice the loving kindness, there are some who practice compassion, there are some who practice equanimity, there are some who practice contemplation of the body, there are some who practice the four satipatthana, there are some who practice this and that, and the list is quite long actually. And then the Buddha says, and there's also some who practice mindfulness of breathing. Yeah, so everybody has their own ways to meditate. And also from time to time, the way you meditate might change. For me, that's the way I practice anyway. And it would not be honest of me to teach you differently from how I practice myself. So that's what I've been teaching you. To look at your mind and respond to the mind in a way, right? For example, when the mind is restless, then you use those calming practices. But when the mind is sleepy, then you don't. Then you fall more asleep. So then you use some kind of energizing practices. And vice versa. And when the mind has ill will, that's a good time to do metta, and so forth. You can use all these techniques. And then you have what I've been calling a meditation toolbox. Yeah, and the meditation toolbox does not just have a hammer to attack every problem. It also has chisels, screwdrivers, pens, whatever else. So you can be flexible and not so sturdy. This is how I should meditate. Yeah, be a bit playful, creative. Don't take it too far. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to sit with a certain method for a while, maybe even for a couple days or longer before you see how it works. It's like learning how to use a new tool that you haven't used before. Yeah? I don't advise that in your meditation you are super reactive all the time, that where just the slightest problem arises, immediately you change the way you meditate, because then you just create more restlessness. Does that make sense? Yeah? So especially for those analytical people, sometimes just step back from that analytical mind and get in touch with your feeling, the feeling side of your being, and see if you can meditate by using feelings. Yeah? Even with feelings you can be responsive as well. Yeah? If you feel ill will, then you bring up metta. This is not an intellectual idea, it's a feeling thing. It can become automatic. So just a little bit of creativity without being too robotic about it, I feel is very useful in meditation. You might pick one main meditation subject that you like to develop. Yeah? For the past year or two for me that has been metta, but for you that might be the meditation on the breath, for example, which is a very common one. You might pick that as your main thing that you do, and then every now and then you just do a little bit of a different thing, or you approach that mindfulness of breathing itself in a little bit of a different way, to balance those energies and to counter the different defilements, the different states of mind. Our mind is not always doing the exact same thing. But if we react always in the same way, then I think it's just harder to solve all the problems, basically, in meditation. And this me talking about responding to the situation, just before I walked up here, reminded me of when I was a boy and I used to play badminton. And quite seriously as well. And I did a regional tournament once. A regional tournament. Oh, this was the biggest tournament I had done so far. I think I was about 12 years old, yeah, so don't think like I was a professional or anything, but it's the boy who took his sport quite seriously. And biggest tournament so far, so yeah, I was gonna go for it. So I signed up for the singles, when you play by yourself, and for the doubles with my friend and mate. He was called Mink. I don't know why somebody would call them child Mink, but I suppose even in the Netherlands that's not a common name, but maybe in some regions. Anyway, we signed up. And in the singles, we were both quite quickly eliminated. There were especially two players who were clearly better than all the rest of all the boys. And you could see that they had been trained by some trainer who was much more professional and had much more of a strategic way to think about badminton, and our trainer saw it more like just a game that for kids to play, right? We took it very seriously. We went through all the drills, but when it came to playing a match, he didn't have any specific strategy that he gave us, our trainer, because he just was exercise basically and playing around. So those two boys were much better than us, clearly, everybody could see it. And they also teamed up for the finals. So actually, me and my friend, we made it to the finals as well. And we were facing those two boys who also ended up facing each other in the singles finals. Yeah? They were from this club, which was also much better than our club. So we didn't stand a chance of winning. Yeah, they were clearly much better. And at the start of the match, we were falling really far behind because they just had all the strategies in place. And suddenly we noticed, after they serve the shuttle, they serve the shuttle. Often in badminton, when you serve a shuttle, you can immediately expect somebody to smash it right in the front of where you've served it. Yeah? And you have to serve it at an angle to the other corner. And so what they did, they were trained after they served to stand behind another, right in line where that smash, the quick volley or the quick hit is to be expected. And at some point we noticed that they're always standing exactly there in the same place. And then we decided, we're gonna smash it to the side. Yeah? When you're a grown-up, your arms are long enough to just jump to the side and catch it. But we were boys, and these boys were trained to play the way grown-ups did. When we started smashing to the side, they couldn't catch it. So we started catching up, and they didn't adjust. They stuck to their strategy, that they were taught. And when, for those of you, some of you have mentioned that they've seen some lights in their meditation. If that's not you, again, I already explained that there's nothing to worry about, because for some people these just come more naturally, and this is the way it is, it doesn't matter. But if that is you, if you go deeper in your meditation and you see more and more peace arising, then at some point you should not interfere with the meditation. And just let it take its own course. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just let things happen. Let things settle by themselves. If you see these lights in the mind and you want to change them, then you destroy those lights. Or it might not be a light yet, but even if you're just already getting quite peaceful and your breath gets beautiful, then just let it take its own course. But a little bit of creativity I personally find very useful, especially if you meditate quite a lot, like in a retreat like this. And if you always do the same thing over and over, for some people that might work very well. But other people like to switch things up a little bit. Yeah. So during this retreat, I've taught you various ways to meditate, and I hope at least one of them was useful for you. I started talking about happiness is here and now, lost all worries, nowhere to go, nothing to do. To just find some beauty in the present moment. Just find the beauty of sitting together with these other people. The beauty in the knowledge that you found a path that actually leads to becoming a better person. It's very beautiful that you are all here, and that you found this meditation, and that you have the opportunity to meditate. Actually, not many people in the world will have the opportunity like you do. That is like creating some joy and some happiness and just contentment to be here. I also talked about loving kindness, this beautiful quality of the heart that wishes all beings to be happy, including yourself. Yeah? And that even wishes cow dung to be happy. Remember the story when I had metta towards cow dung? Yeah? Not that you really want cow dung to be happy, but metta can be this quality that's just in your heart, which shines upon the whole world, no matter what it is. And that is another very beautiful way to meditate. Then I also spoke a bit about mindfulness on the breath. This way of meditating that's very widely used, and which many people find very beneficial, and which I myself also often use. During this retreat, I've used it quite a lot as well, because I've been teaching it to you, so then I sit down to meditate, and then those teachings just come to me. Not in like a verbal way per se, but just the general ideas come back. To focus on your breath and see, is it long or short, and to create some interest in the breath. That interest which uplifts the mind, makes it so much easier to focus on your breath. Those instructions just coming to you, or at least the ideas behind the instructions coming to you, that is also a kind of mindfulness, a kind of not forgetting, a kind of remembering the instructions. This is also an important way of practicing the mindfulness. I also mentioned here and there some other ways to meditate. Walking meditation. Yeah, that's another beautiful way of meditating. And I remember at 3 o'clock I will try to do a guided walking meditation. I've never done that before. I don't know if it has ever been done before. Probably has, but if you don't like experimenting, then don't come. I don't know how it will go, is what I'm saying, but at 3 o'clock we will try that here. There's plenty of space. You can use the rooms to the side and the back as well. We'll open the doors. Anyway, all these ways of purifying your mind. I hope you found some benefit, and today, remember, death may come tomorrow, who knows? Yeah, this is not to frighten you, but it is to make you think, like the day fly. Still got 1,000 moments. or more today. Sit down and forget about the future. I think that whatever you go back to tomorrow, your family, your work, your business, your house, whatever it is, I think the best way to prepare for whatever challenges you have in the future is to be present right here, right now, today. Thinking about leaving, thinking about what you're gonna do afterwards. You don't really need to do that, because all that planning, maybe you just do it for 5 minutes while you're driving up out of the gate, and that's all you need to do, really. How much do we really need to plan, generally speaking? But by being present here right now, we can find peace and energy and clarity of mind. And that clarity of mind allows you to be responsive in the moment. Yeah. The best way to prepare for giving a talk is be here right now. And just let things happen naturally. Do you agree? Maybe. Maybe you need some more experience of what it's like to be really here and now, and what it really means for the mind to become bright and present. When it is like that, your mind is bright and present, if you do need to prepare something, you're so much more efficient. Yeah? So, that is what I suggest. You've got some work to do, maybe tomorrow, but use today still to quiet the mind. And when you do your work tomorrow, wow, you'll be so much more efficient. You can get 3 hours done in 30 minutes maybe. Depends on what the work is, of course. And you'll enjoy it so much more as well by being here and now. Do you at least agree? Yes, I do agree. Oh, at least somebody agrees with me. But he's been living with me for many years now, so maybe he's noticed or he's learned, Sunyo. I think Harry also learned, yeah? This is maybe the most important thing I want you to take away from this retreat and into this day. The anger-eating demon in our minds. Have you seen the anger-eating demon in your meditation? Or just during this retreat in general? Go away, stupid thoughts. I should be quiet. This is meditation time. Why are you thinking of the past? Leave me alone. You don't belong in my mind. Past and future. Ill will. I'm such a bad Buddhist. Get out of my mind. You don't need to think like that. Instead, yeah, you can be here. You're good enough. I'm good enough. I don't need to be the next Buddha. I don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect, any of you. And if you accept that you don't need to be perfect, that is perfect. To me, you're already perfect, but if you accept that you don't need to be perfect, then you are especially perfect. So that is one of the best stories, the angry-eating demon. And now we're all kind to Harry, right? I hope you can be kind to the Harry inside your mind as well. Now I want to close this talk by giving you a few tips on how to practice after the retreat when you go back home. If you imagine this retreat is still gonna last for 9 months, then just close your ears. I'm not talking about going home. You can leave the hall as well if you want to. Because I probably will not have another opportunity to really talk about that. Maybe tonight I would during the questions and answers, but the box is still quite full. And tomorrow there is a goodbye session, but I just want that to be not any explanations, just acknowledging us all here and so forth, something like that. So I have to address that now because it's a very common question people have. How do I take what I've learned into the future, and also how do I meditate when I go back home? Because people find it difficult to stick to meditation. First of all, if you have let go of anything during this retreat, it might just be a small thing, or if you've had some small realization or some small peace. Maybe you can't even remember the specifics, but you can remember that there was during this retreat some moments of peace. Just reflect upon that for a moment. Again, maybe you can't think of anything specific. Maybe you can, maybe a moment that you really felt like letting go of something. Maybe you got a bit emotional as well during that. Maybe just a moment that you were more aware, that you could see the beauty in certain things that you hadn't seen before. Some moment of kindness. Whatever it is. Imagine that was not in the past, but that realization is still in your heart right now. Might even imagine your heart opening up like a little door. Your heart is a little box, and it opens up, and you put inside of the box that realization, that awareness, or whatever beneficial moment you had during this retreat. And then you gently close the box and you keep that within you, in your heart. Then when you leave, it's still there. Although I talk about letting go of the past, and the Buddha talks about letting go of the past, in a way the past is what shapes us. So all these experiences we've had during this retreat is what shapes us. In a way we always take the past with us in a certain sense. So this retreat, let it shape you for the future. And take it with you in your heart. That way you can always sort of come back to this retreat in a sense. When you go back home, you sit down, you can open the box of your heart again. You don't need to specifically remember this retreat, but all those past experiences, all the growing as a person you've done through these reflections, these meditations, through some of the happiness in meditation, but also some of the suffering in meditation. I'm sure you've not always sit there blissing out. I'm sure all of you have experienced some moments of restlessness, maybe despair, maybe even agony. But you've learned. And you're all still here. I'm really, really proud of all of you still being here. I hope you can make it another day without running away. And this is one way to take these practices home with you. And this is more like an emotional way to take it home with you. But people also want to know like practical ways. How do I go back and how do I keep meditating? That is really up to each individual to figure out, because we all have different schedules, different lives. But I do encourage you all to realize that some of the benefits of meditation come from having a sustained practice. It's like the story I told you yesterday of me going to work on Monday, Tuesday, blah, 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 Friday, and then Saturday I get the payday. If you only go to work Mondays and never come for payday on Saturday, then you work a lot and you never get any pay. So when you go back home, see if you can make meditation a part of your life. You might not have as much time to meditate as here, obviously. And that is just the way it is. But make some moments during the day. Did you sit down and meditate? Or walk and meditate? Find that peace. At least remind yourself of the possibility of peace by sitting down. Even if you just have 5 moments, 5 minutes. Well, even if you just have 5 moments. Just sit down for 5 moments or 5 minutes. You don't have to always have an hour. Or whatever. So try and make it a regular thing. And keep reminding yourselves of the benefits of meditation. Make this something you want to do, not something you have to do, like a chore. Oh, okay. First in the morning, I gotta wake up the kids, then cook the breakfast, bring the kids to school, then I have to meditate, then I have to go to the shop. No, do like this. Oh, I have to wake up the children in the morning, cook their breakfast, bring the kids to school. But then I get to meditate. Yes! Get some rest from this busy, busy life. That makes it attractive, meditation. If you want to develop habits, you have to make them something you want to develop and not something you have to develop. If you make our habits into a chore, especially with meditation, you're not going to do it if you make it a chore. Especially with meditation, because the results can be sometimes a bit abstract and in the future. But if you make it something like, meditation, I got the opportunity. Then you can imagine how that inspires you to practice. That's the main thing I would say to keep your practice going, is to keep that inspiration, that Jhana that I talked about yesterday a little bit. It's the answer to one of the questions, that enthusiasm to meditate. And please also keep it during the harder times. For each and all of us, meditation is, you have your ups, you have your downs, and it's like the driverless bus, right? When it drives through the beautiful scenery, it always speeds up. And then you come through the wastelands, it slows down. So the bad times always seem to last so long, and the good times just fly by. But over the years, as you practice, you learn to slow down the bus, or it slows down by itself, I should say, in the beautiful parts. This is where I want to be, and you know how to be there. And then the bad parts, the bus starts speeding up through the wasteland. And just, okay, this is just a little bit, I can sit through that. So then the more you meditate, if you do it appropriately, with kindness, letting go, and so forth, then over time you'll get more and more beauty and less suffering. This is the promise of the Buddha. It's also something I promise you. But see in your own practice whether that promise is true or not. Then finally, to make meditation enticing and something you're willing to do. Just one more practical tip. I talked before how I was a layperson, yeah, and how I had my own meditation corner where I, remember I saw that flame and opened my eyes. Wow, the beautiful flame and so forth. I had my own meditation corner. And it took me a while to figure out the benefits of that. Because before that I just put my meditation cushion somewhere in a closet or something, and I only took it out when I wanted to meditate. But at some point I just started leaving it out in the same place, and it was just always there, always ready for me. Then I walked into my home. At that point I wasn't living with my ex-girlfriend anymore, so just by myself. And then when I saw my meditation cushion, I was just reminded of meditation. And I could just sit down straight away. You don't need to open the closet, get the cushion out, and prepare the place. No, just sit down and can just sit. It makes it easy to meditate. And maybe you don't have a place or a meditation corner in your house, no space, but maybe you can assign a certain seat for meditation. And just you see that seat and you're like, yeah, I can sit there. I might have only 5 minutes, but why not? Maybe you're waiting for some food to cook in the microwave or whatever. Just sit down for 5 minutes to meditate. Because it's so easy to do. If you wouldn't have that cushion already out there or that place already there, then you would just spend 5 minutes, I don't know, turn on the television, check your phone. But make it easy. The same I do with other habits, or attempt to do anyway. I'm not perfect in anything and by any means. And as a layperson, I also had my periods that I just dropped meditation because I thought I had more important things to do. So I give you these tips mainly from knowing how not to do things. But I also wanted to develop a habit of doing yoga at least every once a week here in the monastery. And what I sometimes do is when I notice that my mind, I don't want to do yoga, all those postures, standing like a cow, standing like a dog, and all hurts. Why is that funny? That's the name of some of the postures, right? Yeah. So standing like a cow, standing like a dog, cat, whatever. So much difficulty. And then I had that was in the back of my mind, right? That resistance. And I had my yoga mat rolled up underneath my bed somewhere, tucked away. So in the back of my mind was that resistance against the postures and doing the yoga. But in the front of my mind, I excused myself in a way by taking out the yoga mat from underneath my bed. So much effort, I have to spread it out. I might as well not do it. It creates that easy excuse. So what I did, tomorrow morning I want to do yoga, or later this afternoon I want to do yoga. And then when I feel inspired to do it, then I just take out the mat and put it out already. It creates less of a obstruction to do it. Now I really don't have that simple excuse anymore, So it's already there, and I see the yoga mat. Standing like a cow, standing like a dog, standing like a horse. Is that one? Probably one of the postures I do should be called the horse posture. Because I have some of that I just invented or whatever. I don't really do yoga, actually. It's more like just stretching, but whatever. And then I see that mat there, and I'm like, might as well. The mat is there now anyway. Maybe I'll just do a few. Maybe I'll just do only the cow and the dog, and that's it. But once you start, it's not so bad actually as I thought it was. The stretching. Might as well keep going. And before I know it, usually I just finish my whole routine. Can do the same with meditation. Yeah. Meditation, boring, being here. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, again. I want to do something. But maybe later in the day I'll meditate, so I'll just prepare the seat anyway. Yeah, put the cushion down, put the mat down, make it nice and clean, nice and inviting. Maybe put something inspiring in front of it on a shrine or something. Yeah, maybe. I see so many people with the teddy bear, so maybe you put your teddy bear on the cushion already. Put Sunyo on your cushion. And then, later in the day, or the next morning, whatever, it's already there for you. And you'll see. It's very easy then. Might just sit down, it's already there. Maybe just a minute, whatever. At least you don't have that burden of to put it all ready, to make it all prepared. And that can be a very helpful tool as well. That's just some suggestions, some of you probably already have a routine and you're like, when is this talk gonna end? I don't need to be told about all this. But some of you might benefit from that. So, yeah. Let me just finish again. With this. Because still a whole day in front of us. I know I've said it a few times, but let it sink in. Yeah? Actually, don't even think there's a whole day in front of us. There's a whole moment. Right here, right now. I noticed it in my own mind as well, actually. Earlier last night, I started thinking, okay, because I was talking to Katrin a little bit about the ending of the retreat and how I go back to the monastery, all these practical things. And I sat down in meditation and I came back with these thoughts in my mind. Oh yeah, then I'm gonna go there and do this. And I was like, hey, you're not following your own instructions. So then I decided, it's just one breath here. And I can do it right here, right now, actually. I just forgot about you all sitting here when I closed my eyes and just focused on my breath. Not a joke. Just enjoy that one breath. And the whole future vanishes. There's no future then. There's no past then. There's no retreat then. There's no whole day left then. There's just a whole moment for you to enjoy. So, therefore, dear friends, do not revive the past or yearn for the future. The past is gone, the future hasn't yet arrived. Be aware of whatever happens in the present. Practice to know it, unmoved, unshaken. Apply yourself today, be motivated. Tomorrow death may come, who knows. You can't bargain with mortality and his army. Practice like this, day and night, being motivated, not lazy. And you have a beautiful day. So the peaceful sage, the Buddha, has said, there's still nowhere to go, and nothing to do. So, thank you for listening, and enjoy your moments. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Did you enjoy those sadhus? Could you enjoy those sadhus even more? Yeah? Okay, let's do that then. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you very much. And I'll see some of you for the interviews and the others maybe for the walking meditation at 3 o'clock. Yeah, over here.